In this video, we're going to talk about constant keyword in C#. Now, this is one such keyword using which you can declare data member as well as local variable, unlike the previous keyword that we have come to know about in the last video, that is read only. Read only can be used only to declare data members, whereas constant can be used to declare data member as well as local variables. Now, first thing is first. Constant, the name itself suggests, once the value is given to this variable, constant variable, it cannot be changed during the runtime of the application. Simply, it's immutable, right? You cannot mutate it. As for example, if I want to declare a data member here regarding employee, say employee works for an organization and the name of the organization is kind of fixed. So in that case, I'm declaring a data member with the constant keyword, which is const, and then say it's a string, and then the name of it and is going to be company name or organization name. But one thing is quite clear, that there is a slight difference in the naming style of constant data member and regular data members. Generally, we declare it using complete uppercase, such as say company underscore name is equal to, now put the company name, say for example Visa, right? Now, these data member cannot be modified, this value of the data member cannot be modified in any other way. First rule about the constant data member in C# is that you declare the data member with const keyword, and once this value has been given, and obviously while declaring the value variable itself, you have to assign the value to it. Once the value has been assigned to it, you cannot change it via constructor, via properties, or via some other method, or even from outside. No way you can set the value to it once again. It's immutable once the value has been given to this variable, right? And since I know very well that this data member cannot be modified at all, so I can declare it using even public access specifier. So if people want, they can access it. I don't need a separate property for it. This is one data member which I'm quite certain about not being changed, and there is no problem in exposing it using public access specifier. Rest of the data member I want to be hidden or abstracted from the user, so I've declared them without private keyword, making them by default private. But this one I have kept it public because I know very well that no one can change the value of it. So company name can be accessed within your application, can be accessed from outside the application, but no one can change it. A fantastic example of a constant member is pi, which is 3.14, and I'm writing it here itself actually in our .NET library. Somewhere down the line I'll just write it. Say for example in this default constructor in .NET library there is a math namespace, right? Math class in the system namespace. Math class has a data member pi, which is actually a constant, so you can access it directly, and its value is 3.14. So anytime you think that some data member's value should not be changed, you can declare it as a constant, and you can access it wherever you want in your application. But once given, the value cannot be modified after that. Say for example from program.cs file, I just would like to print here salary of Anil from this. Here I would like to print the organization name. So I'm going to access employee dot company name. An interesting fact, you do not access it using reference variable, you access it using the class name. Since it has nothing to do with the instance, it's common for all of the instances of this class, so we access it via the class name. So here I would like to access it, and this is how to access it via the class name. Okay, never ever through any instances, because the value is kind of shared across all the instances of this class. So you access it, this is how, and then run the application. You'll be able to print over there that Anil from so and so is going to display. Just a second, hold on. It takes a bit of time sometimes to display the output here. Let me just try it once again. Okay, say for example you are trying to print employee name from employee.company name is employee total salary, right? Everything is fine. So as you can see, salary of Anil from Visa is 6,000 here, right? So this is how we use this constant member. And remember one thing, First, the constant is used to declare data member plus the local variables also. I'll show you that example too. And here I have declared as a data member, as you can see from employee. Then once this value has been assigned, and first thing is first you have to assign the value when you are declaring this data member. This technique is known as field initialization. That means you are initializing the field, and generally we don't do it as because the value of a field depends on the instance, but this is some variable whose value doesn't depend on the instance because every employee belongs to the same organization here in this case, correct? So in that case, what is going to happen is this is not going to be part of any instance memory allocation, and this is kind of shared across all the instances. Anyway, once the value has been given, cannot be modified hereafter inside the application or from outside the application. That can only be accessed and using the class name as because it's not particularly part of any instance. Now again, you guys can also declare a constant variable. Say for example, I would like to say in this example exactly it doesn't make sense to use any constant data member, constant variable. So maybe somewhere down the line I can show you, such as say constant x is equal to, sorry, constant integer value is equal to say 30. So I can declare a local variable also with the constant keyword, as you can see, and then I can print the value of it too, right? So these variable value once given cannot be modified throughout the application. If you try to do that, say for example here I'm trying to assign value 40 and it will give me error. Already it started giving error because it's a constant variable, and you can see the compilation is that the left hand side of this assignment must be a variable property indexer. So it is a bit interesting as because it says that it's not exactly a variable because it's a literal text value actually. There is no memory space allocation for this value variable, even ditto for employee name variable. In memory it's kept at some other place, not part of any constant. Practically it's not kept in the memory even. It's actually when this entire application code is compiled, then you know that intermediate language code is produced, and that intermediate language as a literal value will store the value of this value variable, or here in this case value of the company name. There will be no memory allocation in the runtime for this. That's why it's saying that it's not exactly a variable, though it looks like a variable that I have declared. Later point of time it becomes just part of the IL code, and over there it becomes a literal text value which is used. Means it's not a textual value, but it's a literal value, I should say. So this is what is constant here in C#, and obviously I must comment this line in order to make my application work. So this is how constant variable is declared, used in your application. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about something else in the upcoming video, like what is for example uh, object oriented programming, other features like inheritance, etc. So in this video I came to know about constant keyword. Fine, I hope you have got the idea clearly.